So we start with this page, which is formula of covalent compounds. Okay, ionic compounds we will discuss further. So before we start writing down, now at this stage, do you understand the difference between a symbol and a chemical formula? A symbol will always represent an atom. Of an atom represents an element, so a symbol will always have only an English alphabet. Either it can be one letter or two letters. Whereas if we are talking about chemical formula, which we are supposed to find out, a chemical formula will be always alphanumeric. Alphanumeric means there will be alphabets, there will be numbers. Just take it for understanding. Let's say CO2. Now tell me, CO2 is a compound or an element? Compound. So the base entity, the least entity which can represent a compound is a molecule. So this is one molecule of CO2. One molecule of CO2 contains both carbon, oxygen, and oxygen 2 numbers. Now this is not a symbol. But this is not a symbol. This is a chemical formula. Chemical formula is like a recipe. What are the atoms present and in what count they are present? ठीक है? तो यहाँ पे एक छोटा चीज लिख लेते हैं. If we have something called symbol, we are actually denoting an atom, and an atom represents an element. Are we fine? This clarity? If we have something called a chemical formula, or as we say a molecular formula, chemical formula. Now, when we say symbol, the symbol will always be alpha. A chemical formula will always be alpha numeric. Okay? It will be alphanumeric, and it will represent what is known as a molecule. And a molecule can further represent an element. Also, it can represent a compound. Let's see some examples. If I have a symbol which is Fe, it represents an atom of Fe and basically representing the element iron. Clear? If I have a chemical formula which is let's say at this stage O2, O2 represents element in molecular state, whereas CO2 represents compound. This is carbon dioxide. Is this clear now? Okay. Now, in order to understand this further better, and now what we'll do, we'll try to see the chemical formulas for covalent compounds. Then we will see them for ionic compounds. Covalent compounds. Do you remember what are covalent compounds? Covalent compounds are those compounds which are formed by sharing of electrons. I hope you remember. Covalent compounds are those which are formed by sharing. Covalent compounds. Now, this is also a covalent molecule. Oxygen also shares electron, but this is not a covalent compound. This is a covalent. This is a divalent, actually a covalent molecule, but representing the elemental state. We are supposed to go for covalent compounds. Before we go to covalent compounds, we should also have a basic clarity of what is valency. Valency is the number of electrons that an element can gain, lose, or share. The valency actually defines your combining power, right? The valency will control, this will control the combination. This will control the combination. So what is valency? Valency is number of electrons, and the electrons can be either gained, or they can be lost, or they can be shared. Why do you do this? When you try to get the electronic configuration of a nearest inert gas. Nearest inert gas. Now let's see the technique to find the valencies. Let's see our groups now. Our groups, we have got group 1, group 2, group 3, group 4, group 5, group 6, group 7, and group 8. If we take it from the second period, or say some of the common elements, let's say sodium comes in group 1, magnesium comes in group 2, aluminum comes in group 3, carbon comes in group 4, in 5 we have got nitrogen, in 6 we have got oxygen, or say sulfur, nitrogen, carbon, or silicon. In 7, we have got something called chlorine, and in 8, we have got, say, argon. I'm not going by any period. I'm saying some of the very familiar elements that we know, right? Now we need to find out what is the valency. So if you see sodium for group 1, group 2, and group 3. For group 1, group 2, group 3, the valency will be exactly equal to, up till here, the valency is same as group number. The valency is same as group number. And from here onwards, from here till here, the valency is 8 minus group number. Now this is very unique for IGCSE because you all understand the groups as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whereas the modern periodic table goes as 1, 2, 3. Here it will be 1, 2, here it will be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There we write group number minus 10. Okay? So it will be 8 minus group number. तो थोड़ा valency निकाल ले, सबका valency क्या क्या होगा आप बोलिए मुझे चलिए. What will be the valency of sodium? 1, 2, 3, the valency is always 1, 2, 3, the valency is always the group number. So for sodium, the valency would be 1. For magnesium, the valency would be 2. For aluminum, the valency would be 3. For carbon, 8 minus group number, 4. Nitrogen, 3. Then again, oxygen, 2. Chlorine, 1. And here, the valency is 0. And the valency being 0 here, this is so nice. See? The valency being 0 here, it says there is no hunger. There is no hunger to lose, gain, or share. Why? That's why I'm known as an inert gas. These are the inert gases. They never have the hunger to lose, gain, or share. Is this clear now? Okay. Now let's see, based on this, let's see the combining capacity. Okay. Now, based on this, you will be able to yourself say some of the combinations. Let's see what are the combinations out here. Although we are looking for, it says about covalent compounds, but we can have any compound out here. Just for example, a sodium, Nidhi, this will be useful for you also. A sodium, let us combine with chlorine. Sodium has got a valency of 1. Chlorine also has a valency of 1. Now in this valency, you should also know one thing which your book is not saying. These three are the positive ones. Positive means, have you understood? These three are going to lose electrons, whereas these ones will be the negative ones. These are the ones which are going to gain electrons. These will be losing electrons. So either way, whether you are going for sharing is also considered as gaining. गेन करोगे तो इतना चाहिए आपको, तभी आप कंपाउंड बन पाओगे. चलो कुछ कंपाउंड बनाने की कोशिश करते हैं ऐसे ही रफ. Let us say sodium and chlorine. Sodium wants to give away one electron, chlorine wants to take one electron. Sodium, तो इसमें सोडियम का कैसा बनेगा? NaCl. Do you agree or not? Let's make something with magnesium and let's say oxygen. Magnesium wants to give away 2 electrons, oxygen wants to take 2 electrons. What should be our product? MgO. Let's try with aluminum. Okay, and let's try with chlorine. Aluminum wants to give away 3 electrons, but chlorine takes only 1 electron. So you bring 3 chlorines. ये एक लेगा, वो एक लेगा, एक और लेगा. So I think with chlorine it will be AlCl3. Right? We're keeping carbon as of now. Stand by. Let's look for nitrogen. Nitrogen needs how many? Nitrogen gains 3 electrons. So you should have someone who is supposed to give you 3 electrons. Who is supposed to give you 3 electrons? Hydrogen is there. You can share with hydrogen. See, I'm not going only with covalent or ionic. I'm just trying for you to understand first. Nitrogen will always need 3 electrons. So bring somebody with nitrogen who is going to give you 3 electrons. Let's understand. Let's take nitrogen versus hydrogen. Hydrogen is in group 1, but hydrogen has got a very unique property. Hydrogen cannot give away the only electron that it has. If hydrogen gives away the only electron it has, then hydrogen's existence is lost. So hydrogen can only combine with somebody on sharing mode. Hydrogen wants one electron. Please understand. Hydrogen is shown in group 1, but generally the position of hydrogen is never clear. In good periodic tables, you'll see hydrogen placed separately. Hydrogen has got one electron. It needs one more electron to form duplet. It cannot give away one electron that it has. So what should be the bonding that hydrogen would prefer? Covalent bonding. Share karega. Okay? And whereas if you see what do you call nitrogen, nitrogen needs 3 electrons. Sharing is also as gaining. This fellow, this one of them, it needs only 1 electron, and this fellow needs 3. This is 3, this is 1. So how do you make a compound? Let's have nitrogen. Now, nitrogen, what is the atomic number? Just let us see. What is the atomic number of nitrogen? 7. So electronic configuration of nitrogen would be 2, 5. So how does nitrogen look like? 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Agreed? And let's bring hydrogen. This is 1 hydrogen. We have one more hydrogen out here, and we have one more hydrogen out here. Let a bond be formed here, let a bond be formed here, let a bond. Now just look, is everyone satisfied or not? Look at from nitrogen's perspective, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, satisfied. Look from hydrogen's perspective, satisfied. Did you understand the criteria? So a nitrogen and a hydrogen, where was nitrogen? Nitrogen was here, right? Nitrogen and a hydrogen forms something like NH3. Let's see now nitrogen versus sodium. ये आप खुद बोलो मुझे कैसा टाइप कंपाउंड बनना चाहिए? Sodium wants to give away 1 electron. Nitrogen wants to gain 1 electron. No, bonding. It cannot be covalent bonding. Covalent करने से sharing हो जाएगा. Whereas sodium does not want. Sharing नहीं चाहिए मुझे. So it will be electrovalent bond. And each sodium is going to give you only 1. Nitrogen needs 3. So 3 sodium should be there. So what should be the name? Na3N, sodium nitrite. Na3N. And while we name these compounds, you will always see the metal is always written first, barring hydrogen. In the case of hydrogen, hydrogen को बाद में लिखा जाता है. How did we write here? NH3. But if it was with sodium, then we'll make it Na3N, sodium nitrite. How will the name be? Sodium nitride. Because you are coming alone. IDE. Remember this. Okay. Oxygen के साथ किसी का भी compare करके देख लो. Oxygen we have done. Any other with oxygen? Let's take carbon and oxygen. Carbon and oxygen. What is the valency of carbon? 4. What is the valency of oxygen? 2. Right? The best way to form the formula is crisscross them. Crisscross. So carbon gets how many? 2. And oxygen gets 4. Now bring it to the lowest term, CO2. Clear? It becomes CO2. Question arises, type of bonding. Oxygen needs 2 electrons. Carbon needs 4 electrons. So ionic bond is ruled out. Both need. There is no donor. So what it can be? Covalent bonding. So covalent bond बना के देखें. इसका covalent bond कैसा बनेगा? आओ बना के देखते हैं. So we've got a carbon. How many electrons does carbon have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I hope you know this. Carbon is 2, 4. Right? And oxygen has how many electrons? 1, then 2, 3, 4, and 5. And say this is another one, 6. Oxygen has got 6. So bring another oxygen out here. 1, 1, 2, 5, and 6. So you have a bond formation here, you have a bond formation here. Tick. So the bond looks like oxygen bond with carbon. पर हुआ क्या? नहीं हुआ. यहाँ पे ऐसे. So this one comes here, this one comes here. Now it is 8, 8. अब check करो. Clear? So let's go and see some of the atom formation, and we'll go by your examples of your book. So are you clear with valency, all of you all? अश्मिता बेटा थोड़ा इंटरनेट अनस्टेबल है, शायद आपको valency का केस समझ में आया. अभी हम और We're going to take some examples, then everything is going to go clear. Okay. Have you understood when ionic bond will be formed and when covalent will be formed? Ionic will be formed if you have a donor and a acceptor. Who are the donors? The metals are the donors. These are positive. Who are the acceptors? These are the acceptors. If you try to make a bond here itself between these two, इसके बीच में कभी भी ionic bond हो ही नहीं सकता है, because both of them want electrons. Are we fine? So let's go and try and make some exercise problems. Let us do. I'll keep this chart here itself so that you can see from here. Okay, one of the worked examples are there. Work out the formula of carbon dioxide. I think we have already done. The formula of carbon dioxide we have already done. It says, so we'll go by the steps. We need to work out the formula of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. So first of all, you try to think who are the participating elements. The participating elements are carbon and oxygen. And even if we don't look at the book, let's start thinking. Carbon is somebody who needs electron. Oxygen is somebody who needs electron. Ionic bond is ruled out in this case. All we can have is a covalent bond. Okay, the next step this is write the valencies beneath their thing. So let's write the valency. Carbon's valency is 4, oxygen's valency is 2. ये कर लेते हैं, ठीक है? Step number 1, step 2. Step 1 is write the symbols. Write the symbols of atoms. Step 2, write valencies below symbols. ठीक है? Step 2 हो गया हमारा. Step number 3, it says write the valencies beneath their symbols. If necessary, simplify their ratio. अगर जरूरी है तो आप इसके ratio को भी simplify कर सकते हैं. So you can simplify the ratio here, and the ratio now becomes, after simplification, the ratio becomes how much? 1 out here and 2 out here. This is 3. Simplify ratio if necessary, and then do crisscross. And once you do crisscross, carbon takes C. C में 1 आ gaya, so we don't write it, and O gets a 2, so it becomes CO2. Have you understood this? This we are doing for covalent bond compounds, covalent compounds. Okay? Now, based on this, the book is asking you, apply this crossover formula to find the formula for methane. Okay, I'll tell you, methane mein participants are carbon and hydrogen. You try to do it same way. Methane mein participants are CH4, so you got it in one shot. So it should be C and H. C का valency कितना है बेटा? 4. H का valency कितना है? 1. Can you do any lowest term ratio out here? No. So all we can do is C cross C. So it becomes C H4. आखिरी समझ में आया बच्चा? Right. Nitrogen chloride. Nitrogen chloride, a simple molecular compound. Nitrogen chloride. Nitrogen is also that side. Chlorine is also that side. So nitrogen chloride करेंगे तो क्या क्या लिखेंगे? N and Cl. N का valency कितना है बेटा? 3. Cl का valency 1. फिर C cross C. So it becomes how much? N gets 1 to its side. NCl3. Nitrogen chloride. Getting it easy now?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
So maybe one of the questions from my practice should we do like
No, because I know your questions are, the questions will be from Ionic. This technique, Nidhi, what we are doing, we will do much more examples now. Then I'll take your questions, because by then you will be able to solve those questions. We're going to do it right now, because they will usually not give you covalent compounds. They'll give you ionic. Ionic means what, Nidhi? One of the participant will be from this side and one of the participant will be from this side. Just hold your question, okay? In fact, you can tally. You can see one will be from this side, one will be from this side. I have not seen your question, but I can predict. हम लोग करेंगे उसको. Are we done with this? This is understood. Covalent compound molecules. Okay. The next is, if you are given structures if you are given structures, then are you able to tell me what is the molecular formula? Now, this is typically with organic chemistry. Okay, when we go for organic chemistry, say organic chemistry, in organic chemistry, you will have structures. So let me make some structures and let's see whether you will be able to tell me or not. Okay, I'm making a structure like this: CC, H, 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 H. How to read it? Carbon atom. Each carbon atom, what is the valency of carbon? 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Satisfied? 1, 2, 3, 4. So what should be the formula of this compound? C2. So how many carbon? 1, 2, 2. How many hydrogen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. C2H6. Please do not make a ratio out here. You cannot. वहां पे क्यों सिंप्लीफाई किया था? Just ask yourself. No. What did we do just now? We did something called carbon dioxide, in which how did we get the formula as? There you are predicting the formula based on valency. But ask yourself, carbon dioxide means in one molecule you have 1 carbon and 2 oxygen. And if you go by valency, you are getting C2O4. That doesn't satisfy the name. Here, you cannot make it CH3. CH3 करने से देखो तो वैलेंसी सेटिस्फाई होता है क्या कार्बन का? नो, कार्बन शुड बी मिनिमम CH4. स्ट्रक्चर में जो है वही आपको लिखना है. ठीक है, थोड़ा और देखते हैं. Let's say all these you are going to study. What will be the name of the compound? What will not name? What is the formula of the compound? Formula. Organic chemistry, whenever there is a bonding difference, you never see one of the way at your level, since you don't know anything now, you will say this as C2, C2, and then there are 2C, and then we can say H4O2. ऐसा बोल सकते हैं. हाँ, तो ऐसे नहीं बोलते हैं. ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री में इसका नाम क्या हो जाएगा? CH3 COOH. This is acetic acid, vinegar. Okay, let's see some more simple. Okay, they have given you something like this. What is this? This you should not forget, Sahasra, at least from your exam. This is ammonia. What is this? Ammonia typically has a name which does not follow any chemistry. Ammonia is a trivial name. Otherwise, it is nitrogen trihydride or nitrogen hydride. Yes? What is this? Boron trifluoride. Boron trifluoride. Boron will, because fluorine is always in this group and boron is in this group. Up to 20 you should know. ठीक है?
So sir, will it be FP3 or like
No, metal is always named first, Bitu. You forgot. Boron is metal. Boron यहाँ पे है ना, ग्रुप 3 में है. 20 तक आपको याद रहना चाहिए. हाइड्रोजन, हीलियम, लिथियम, बेरिलियम, बोरॉन. बोरॉन इज मेटल. मेटल को हमेशा पहले बोला जाता है. बोरॉन ट्राइफ्लोराइड. ठीक है, अच्छा. Our next thing is, I'll still not drop this. Our next thing of discussion would be empirical formulas. And this one, please pay attention, because in the next chapter we'll do a lot of mathematics. इसका बहुत use आएगा. Empirical formula. Empirical formula is a formula in simplest ratio. Empirical formula is a formula which is in simplest ratio. Simplest ratio of atoms present in it. Here you have the right to do that, what you are trying to do. Now let's see one structure. Carbon, carbon, hydrogen, 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 hydrogen. What should be the formula beta? C2H6. C2H6 इसका molecular formula है. Empirical formula क्या है? Formula in the simplest ratio of atoms present in it. तो इसका empirical formula क्या हो जाएगा? This is known as the molecular formula. Okay. So if you want to find out what is the empirical formula, the empirical formula will be found as ratio ले लो CH3, लेकिन इसके बाद हम एक N डाल के रखते हैं यहाँ पे, where N will be the combining, because CH3 itself cannot be a molecule. Are you getting it? So what is the significance of empirical formula? When you will be actually predicting the chemical formula of certain compounds which you are manufacturing by research, you will first arrive at something called empirical formula. Based on empirical formula, we will be able to say what is the molecular formula. अब यहाँ पे भी एक चीज है, जरा देखते हैं ये n की वैल्यू कहाँ से मिलेगी हमें, n का भी वैल्यू चाहिए ना. Okay, do you know what is molecular mass? Molecular mass. Molecular mass is summation of the atomic masses of each atom, okay, into their count in a molecule. This is something like what you solved in your test, MgSO4. Do you remember? स्कूल के टेस्ट में आया था ना, MgSO4 or something. So molecular mass means you have to sum up the atomic masses of each atom into the respective count in a molecule. So let's understand this. How to go about it? Let's say I have got a molecule called CO2. इसका molecular mass निकालना है. So I will take the molecular mass of carbon, which is 12, right? Then I will add the molecular mass of oxygen, which is 16, but multiplied by 2 because oxygen has got 2 atoms. समझ में आया? So this becomes 12 plus कितना बेटा? 32, which is equal to 44. This is the molecular mass. Have you understood? Right? So, like you have molecular mass, you will also have something called the empirical formula mass. Now this is very important for the next chapter, empirical formula mass. Now let's take our particular example and let's calculate its molecular mass. इसका molecular mass कितना होगा बच्चा, calculate करो तो 12 into 2 plus 6 into 1, because hydrogen is 1, right? 12 into 2 is how much beta? 24 plus 6 कितना हो गया? 30, right? Let's calculate the empirical formula mass. What is empirical formula? CH3. This is the empirical formula. So it will be equal to 12 plus 3. How much is it? 15, right? So this N that you get, the N is always the empirical formula mass divided by the molecular formula. So the molecular mass, which is equal to 15 divided by 30, means in this case this is 2. So ethene is ulta लिख दिया. Sorry. N is equal to, molecular mass divided by empirical mass. So it is 30 divided by 15, which is equal to 2. अब 2 से इसको मल्टीप्लाई करो तो ये कैसा बन गया बेटा, देखो CH3 और यहाँ पे 2 करो तो C2H6 आ गया. Next chapter, when we will be doing lot of calculations, you will be given lot of research data. From the research data, you will be able to find out what beta? Empirical formula. Once you get the empirical formula, you will be also given the molecular mass. So then you should be able to predict finally what is the molecular formula. Is this clear? So what is empirical formula? Empirical formula is the formula of a compound in which the count of atoms are expressed in the simplest ratio. What is the use of it? Empirical formula will be the first formula which you will obtain when you are trying to manufacture a compound. Once you have manufactured that compound, by research, you will first get the empirical formula. It will have something called N. एक N रहेगा हमेशा, ठीक है? And how to find out this N? This N is found out by dividing the molecular mass by the empirical formula. You know how to calculate molecular mass. Okay, can you calculate for me for sulfuric acid, H2SO4? Can you get me the molecular mass? Whatever molecular mass you don't know, I'll help you. I'll help you. Tell me, you tell me. So it should be first, what? Tell me, Sasra. No, tell me for hydrogen first. 1 into 2. 1 hydrogen into 2. Then sulfur. Sulfur कितना है? No. Wait. Oxygen कितना है? 16 है. Oxygen के नीचे है sulfur. Sulfur will be 32 है. ठीक है? 32. उसके बाद ऑक्सीजन कितना है बेटा? 16 multiplied by 4 times. So this is 2 plus 32 plus how much is this? 64. Right? 64 plus 34. 98. Can you find out some things you should know? These are very easy. CaCO3 निकालो तो I'll help you. Carbon is how much? Calcium पहले. Calcium is 20. 20 means 40. Calcium's mass is 40. Carbon is 12 and oxygen is 16 into 3. So this is 40 plus 12 plus 48. करो तो कितना होता है? 100 आना चाहिए. CaCO3 is 100. H2SO4 is 98. ये सब थोड़ा याद रखिए. Water का कितना होगा? 18. Water is 18. CO2 is 44. ठीक है? ये सब थोड़ा सा याद रहने से अच्छा है. Now we come to our Nidhi's most awaited moment, for which she has been eating my head for last 4 weeks. Formulae of ionic compounds. And I will not teach from here. We'll just straight away do ionic compound formulas. ठीक है? Can I rub this, bacha? If you have written everything, some of the compounds you should know, beta. Water H2O will be how much? 18. CO2 will be how much? 44. This you have already done. For H2SO4, this. CaCO3 is 100. Okay. Shall I Ravi? U. This is atomic mass unit. Actually, it's molecular mass unit, but you can write it in U, just U. AMU नहीं लिख सकते बेटा क्योंकि ये molecule है. आजकल AMU उठ गया है. Nowadays in chemistry we don't write AMU, we just write U, molecular mass units. Okay. Can I rub now slowly, बच्चा लोग? Okay. So I'm rubbing this part. I'm keeping that part because I'll need it. This part I'm keeping because I'll need it. Now the best part. No more covalent compounds. We now go for formulae of ionic compounds. One of my most favorite part. Formulae of ionic compounds. Okay, Nidhi madam, before we go for this, let us quickly cross check between us. Do we know what are ionic compounds? Ionic compounds are those compounds which are formed by formation of ionic bond. For formation of ionic bond, there is a direct transfer between you and me. I give you electrons and you take your electrons. No sharing business, okay? That means you should have a donor and you should have an acceptor. If you are the acceptor, I am the donor. That means the donor should be electropositive in nature because he's going to lose electrons. And what is going to form? Cation. And the donor is going to form a anion. And between the cation and anion, the donor becomes cation because donor loses electron and the acceptor will become anion. So donor and acceptor will form a bond. All we have to do is to just make the ratios of their charges barabar so that it becomes a neutral compound. Okay? Now, first, before understanding this, the next concept you should understand is, and you tell me if anything you don't know. Ionic bond. ये चीज समझते हो कि नहीं? Electro positive and electronegative valency. Ashmita, Ahiri, everyone, check if anything that you don't know, you let me know. Neutral nature of I won't use the word molecule here. I will use the word formula unit because in ionic bond we don't form molecules, we call it a formula unit. Neutral nature of formula unit. देखो तो बच्चा इसमें कोई भी चीज समझते हो कि नहीं समझते हो? Anything that you have a doubt in these three? Because if you have a doubt, then we'll not understand. Clear? Third part is neutral nature of a formula unit. Neutral nature of a formula unit means formula unit is the name given to the molecule of ionic bond. देखो बेटा, कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड में मॉलिक्यूल बनता है, जैसे CO2 मॉलिक्यूल है, पर सोडियम क्लोराइड मॉलिक्यूल नहीं है, वो एक फॉर्मूला यूनिट है, ठीक है ना। एक फॉर्मूला यूनिट जब पैदा होगा, अल्टीमेटली चार्ज शुड बी न्यूट्रल। हाँ, नहीं तो आप बैलेंस स्टेबल कैसे हो आप? आर यू गेटिंग इट? आप स्टेबल नहीं हो, ठीक है, ये समझ में आ गया। अगर ये समझ में आया है, do you also understand this particular thing? Electropositive means G1 to G3, rather I will call it metals. This is G4 nahi, G5 to G7. I'll call them as non-metals. देखो तो बेटा, ये समझ में आया क्या what I wrote? I deliberately did not include G4 because a G4 cannot be a donor, or a G4 cannot be a donor means pure donor or a pure acceptor. G4 सिर्फ शेयरिंग कर सकता है, इसलिए मैंने G4 को यहां पे कंसीडर ही नहीं किया। अश्मिता, डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? I can accept maximum 3 electrons, I can gain maximum 3 electrons, however I can share 4 electrons. So G4 falls in the list of, G4 is not a pure donor, not a pure acceptor. G4 can only share. ये समझ में आया? तो ठीक है, आ जाओ। अब अगर इतना समझ में आ गया, then we are all done. Now we have to only be priest and solemnize alliances. ठीक है? So let's bring the groom side and this side. So we have brought sodium. Okay, we have brought sodium. A little bit of periodic table you should know. And you are supposed to know what? You are supposed to know only 1 to 20. So let's write it quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. ठीक है, यहाँ पे क्या क्या हो जाएगा? हाइड्रोजन, देन हीलियम, देन लिथियम, देन बेरिलियम, बोरॉन, कार्बन, नाइट्रोजन, ऑक्सीजन, chlorine, and then neon, followed by sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon, calcium, and potassium and calcium. Potassium, calcium. हो गया बच्चा? अरे okay now, right? So these are my group numbers. Nidhi madam, ready? Are we? Chalo. So we have brought sodium, and so obviously this fellow is ruled out, huh? This fellow is ruled out in this particular alliance. इसको नहीं रखेंगे। चलो, सोडियम का हम करेंगे किसके साथ? सोडियम का we want to do it with, say, fluorine, right? Sodium and fluorine. Okay, bring their valencies. What is the valency of sodium? +1. What did I write? Sasra, now you will not see this. Now you see this. Yeah. Sodium is +1, right? What is fluorine, beta? Fluorine is on this one, so it should be -1. 7 nahi, -1. Okay, if you're still getting confused, +1, +2, +3, -3, -2, -1, laddu. So this also we are not going to consider in this particular. Are we fine? Sodium and fluorine. Now what do we do? One charge, one charge. Is it neutral now? Sodium fluoride. Okay. Right? Shall we do one more of this type? Now we bring magnesium and we bring chlorine. Magnesium is what, beta? +2. Chlorine is what? -1. Right? अभी क्या हो जाएगा? अभी गड़बड़ हो गया ना? हाँ. So it will become this way and this way. अब क्या हो गया? Mg and it becomes Cl2. Now try to think of yourself, or else you can think in this manner also. This particular case we can understand like this. Magnesium actually loses 2 electrons to become magnesium 2 plus. Is this equation understood by you? This is an ionic equation that I'm writing. Have you understood? Right? This is the magnesium wants to copy neon. So magnesium loses 2 electron. Right? Other way would be chlorine always captures 1 electron and becomes Cl minus. This is chlorine's nature. But यहाँ पे तो 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन है, तो हम क्या करेंगे? एक और क्लोरीन को लाएंगे, एक और इलेक्ट्रॉन, एक और इलेक्ट्रॉन. Now look at the positive charge. What is the positive charge? +2. What is the negative charge? -2. -1, -1, -2. न्यूट्रल हो गया. वही चीज यहाँ पे बन रहा है, MgCl2. So if you want to break it up and see again in your mind, Mg is +2, okay, and Cl is minus. Ultimately, the neutral nature of the compound is, or the formula unit is satisfied. Nidhi madam, now we'll take your question. As you were, have you understood this? So where do we take her question? Her question we will take at this place. Haan, bolo Nidhi. What are your?
So, can I repeat the formula of sodium nitrate?
Dichromate. Okay. Sodium dichromate. Now for that you have to first understand what is chromate. Cr2O7. 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 Now if you look at look Nidhi, right now we were doing it for only ions. These are only ions, single atomic ions, okay? Now these are polyatomic ions. They are covalently bonded, but they overall have a charge. Chromate is always someone who has got a 2- with him. Okay? Chromate has got 2- with him. है ना पड़ेगा, है ना आपके पास? What is it? 2-, and she wants to do it with sodium. And the sodium is always 1+ with it, right? Huh? 2 sodium. So this is not chromate, this is dichromate. So we bring the +1, not the +1, the 1 comes this side and the 2 comes this side. So it becomes Na2Cr2O7. Now try and think from your own side. Cr2O7 has got 2-, Na has got a plus, Na has got another plus. Nidhi, look, is it getting neutral now? +1 is +2, and Cr2O7 is 2-, satisfied. Ultimately, you have to just see like this. This fellow can give only 1 electron. This fellow needs 2 electron. So it will say, भैया एक और लेके आओ, अकेले तो होगा नहीं. Clear है? चलो आपका next वाला बनाते हैं. आ जाओ, next वाला. Keep your mic on. You will help me. You keep your mic on. Okay. Now tell me who are the participants?
Zinc phosphate?
No, the question is zinc phosphate, right? Zinc phosphate. Now, first of all, you should know what is phosphate like. मैं आपको उस दिन दिया था phosphate. PO4 3-, and zinc is Zn2+. Okay. Now we have to do the marriage. Now, just understand. 2+ and 3-. In this case, just do their LCM. 2 and 3, what is the LCM? 6. And if you don't understand that, do your crisscross just like the way you were doing. So it becomes Zn3 PO4 2. Zn gets the 3 and PO4 gets the 2. Have you understood? Now let's check. Zinc is how much beta? Zinc is 2+. You have got 3 numbers of zinc with 2+. That means overall you have a +6 charge on this side. Agreed? And PO4 is how much beta? 3-, but you have got 2 of PO4. That means it should be -6. +6 - 6 tallies each other. ऐसे भी करके देख सकते हैं. Can we do the ionic equation of this? The ionic equation will be like this. See, zinc phosphate. Zinc becomes zinc 2 plus losing 2 electrons. PO4 is how much? 2 minus 3 minus. So gains 3 electrons and becomes PO4 3 minus. Now इसमें लफड़ा हो गया है. Now what do? You have to multiply this equation with 3 and multiply this equation with 2. अब सब satisfy हो जाए. ठीक है? That's how we do it. Next, madam, did you understand or not now? But you will be limping if you don't know what is chromate, dichromate, what is phosphate. That's the reason I made you write in the first class. Carbonate. Can you tell me what is carbonate? Look into my eyes and say, what is carbonate? CO3 2 minus. What is sulfate? SO4 2 minus. What is nitrate? Look into my eyes and say 1 minus. How am I able to say them so fast? Again, as I told you, remember they are acids. Bacha, if anybody is asking you these questions, they are basically testing your acid knowledge. फिर से देखो. What are the acids? HCl. How to understand Cl is H is always plus 1, so Cl is minus 1. HNO3. H is plus 1, so NO3 is minus 1. H2SO4 plus 1, so this has to be minus 2. H3PO4 plus 1, plus 1, so this has to be minus 3. Carbonate H2CO3 carbonic acid plus 1, minus 2. So easy. Make a chart on your board and write the names of these acids. कितना है? Hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, phosphoric acid, carbonic acid. That's it. How will acetic acid split up? What is acetic acid? CH3COOH. This hydrogen is going to go away. So it will split up into CH3COO and H+. Can you name me this anion? Can you give me the name of this anion? CH. Look into me. No looking at the book. Acetic acid. So this is known as acetate. है ना? अब इससे हाइड्रोजन को हटा दो बेटा. इसको एक +1 वाला बंदा चाहिए. सोडियम ले आए. Yeah. What will be the name? Metal always to be named first. Sodium acetate. Sodium acetate. Better known as CH3 tuna. Sodium acetate. What will be the name of this one, beta? Magnesium acetate. ठीक है? Yes, Nidhi, next question.
Potassium manganate.
Potassium? Manganate. Okay, manganate or potassium? Manganate. Now you have to first know manganate. Manganate. Potassium permanganate and manganate. Manganate is MnO4 minus. ठीक है? Manganate. So, and you have to make it with potassium. Potassium manganate नहीं है, potassium permanganate रहेगा. कहाँ है? What is it written as? Let me see. Just 1 minute. Yeah, manganate, MnO4 minus. Yeah, manganate. Here 7 means, you know, manganese's oxidation state is 7. Manganese shows 2, 4, 7, 6. बहुत सारा oxidation state दिखाता है. So it's 7. Cr2 7. So potassium manganate. Potassium is what? K plus. So what will be the formula? Potassium K plus. Straight away KMnO4. Next, Nidhi madam.
Oh, that's it.
So first of all, you should be clear with ions. So what all anions? The anions were going to cause you problem. I'm understood. ये लिख लो एक बार फिर से. Write once again. CO3 2 minus, SO4 2 minus, NO3 minus, CH3 COO minus, PO4 minus, Cr2O7 2 minus. Okay. Then we have got MnO4 minus. Similarly, in polyatomic anion is NH4 plus. This is ammonium. Nidhi, can you name all these just quickly? Just look at the board. Don't get your eyes down. Straight in the camera and name them right from the start.
Carbonate,
Yeah, carbonate. Go ahead. Be confident. Carbonate,
sulfate,
sulfate,
nitrate,
nitrate, acetate.
state,
Yes. Phosphate. Yeah. Dichromate,
and then for is
manganate.
oh, and then HO.
NH only, NH4 plus ammonium.
Ammonia.
This is a cation. It is the only non-metallic. Now, can you all write the names also without looking at the board? Without looking at the board, try to do names. We'll do some worked examples with this. All of you try to write the names. If you struggle, ask me. I'll again help you. अच्छा अश्मिता, गृह प्रवेश की मिठाई रह गए हैं क्या? मैं तो हमें मिठा. So I always, whenever there is birthday parties of somebody at our age group and someone, I always ask the next day, कुछ बचा है कि नहीं समोसा or something, and then they say हाँ, they also feel awkward. अरे ये बचा हुआ, मैं बोला मैं अभी आ रहा हूँ. So I just straight away go and I specifically on the function day na, you can't eat so much, you get very tired. The pleasure is 1-2 days after function, fridge se nikalo. And suppose you invite people at home and you have got some desserts from outside, आप उस दिन खा नहीं पाओगे, उस दिन बहुत हड़बड़ी रहता है, लेकिन एक दिन बाद खाओ. The taste is all. Have you seen these sweet packets like typical traditional Telugu sweets packet, pulla ready का जैसे रहता है ना? So I eat it in the order of preference of the items. Last में जो the last thing which you don't prefer, it will be on the last day. Even that will be eaten, not on the first day. First you will eat those kaju katlis and those and those and those. Okay, good. Okay.
But then also, sir,
हाँ.
the next two classes, sir, I won't be able to come.
हाँ.
Training session.
अच्छा.
It's at the same time.
Yeah, sure. We'll have the videos. Don't worry. So, but if there is any struggle, let me know. So we'll do some examples from the book, more of formula of ionic compounds. You all try to do. I'm giving you the names. Okay. Try to write aluminum oxide and calcium oxide. Aluminum oxide and calcium oxide. The chart is right there in front of you. Aluminum oxide. ठीक है, आखिरी कोशिश करो. And calcium oxide. Or the best is, why don't you tell me? चलो आखिरी aluminum oxide बनाते हैं. आ जाओ. बुक छोड़ दो, इधर देखो. अच्छा you look at this side. Aluminum oxide बनाते हैं. Aluminum oxide. हाँ, नाम सुनने से क्या लगता है? Who are the participants? Aluminum and oxygen. Aluminum के ऊपर कैसा रहता है? +3. Oxygen -2. In this case, we'll just do crisscross. Crisscross करने से we are just bringing not the minus and the plus, only the numbers. So 2 comes here and 3 comes here. So our formula should be Al2O3. Now cross check. Aluminum was 3 plus. 2 of aluminum means 6 plus. Oxygen was 2 minus. 3 of oxygen means 6 minus. Balanced. Calcium oxide. बोलो कौन कौन होगा? Calcium and oxygen. Calcium is +2. This is a -2. So 2 comes this side, this comes. So it should be C2O2 पर Ca2O2 पर लोएस्ट टर्म में लिखेंगे CaO। अदरवाइज यू जस्ट सी, इसमें कोई झमेला ही नहीं है। दिस फेलो वंस टेक अवे 2 बिस्किट्स, गिव मी 2 बिस्किट्स। ओके, अगला वाला देखें। हाँ, ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री होने से हम नहीं करते हैं, इसमें तो सिंपल कर सकते हैं, जैसे स्ट्रेट बॉन्डिंग। ठीक है, अच्छा ये 2 हो गया। और आप ऐसे हमेशा चार्ज के साथ खेलो बेटा, आप ऐसे फॉर्मूला पे खाली डिपेंडेंट मत हो, चार्ज देखो +2 -2 बैलेंस टाइप होगा। ठीक है, आइए इसके बाद देखते हैं सोडियम कार्बोनेट। आई हैव जस्ट रिटन कार्बोनेट। कार्बोनेट इज व्हाट, टेल मी। 3 what -2, very good. Carbonate is CO3 2 minus and sodium is what beta +1। ठीक है ना, मैं हमेशा ऊपर लिखता हूं, हैबिट हो गया है। सो +1 and -2 क्रिस क्रॉस कर ले। So 2 comes here and 1 comes here. So what is the formula? CO3। ग्रिप आ गया अभी, हैव यू अंडरस्टूड? हेलो, अभी अश्मिता चार्ज चेक करो। सोडियम का हमेशा होता है +1, आपने 2 सोडियम लिया तो +2 एंड CO3 का -2, स्टेबल, डन। ओके, नेक्स्ट वन यू ट्राई टू डू अमोनियम सल्फेट। अमोनियम इज NH4 plus, right? And sulfate is SO4 2 minus or -2, whatever, +4, 1 + 2। सो इसमें 2 आ गया, इसमें 1 आ गया। सो कैसे लिखेंगे अब इसको? ब्रैकेट 2 SO4। चेक द चार्ज, NH4 is +1 into 2 +2 -2 बैलेंस्ड। समझ में आ रहा है? पक्का, ये लोग बेगम पंडित बन गए हो भी। अमोनियम सल्फेट, अमोनियम NH4 +1 and SO4 -2, 2 comes here, 1 comes here, so it becomes NH4 2 SO4। अब चेक करो तो सल्फेट is 2 minus and 2 into 1 plus is 2, अमोनियम सल्फेट। ओके, अमोनियम नाइट्राइड बनाओ मेरी तरफ से। अमोनियम नाइट्राइड, अमोनियम I know what you're going to ask me. This nitride is troubling you. Nitride ends with what? IDE. That means somebody is coming alone. Nitrogen. Very good. So the match is between NH4 plus and nitrogen 3 minus. हो गया ना? कितना टाइम लगता है? NH4 3 and अब मैच करके देख लो, नाइट्रोजन 3 माइनस NH4 3 प्लस, बैलेंस्ड। हैव यू अंडरस्टूड? Constructing balance symbol equation, all these we have done. So next part we can skip very nicely. What is a word equation, what is a reactant, and what is a product? This we'll do in our next class. And then we have relative masses of atoms and molecules. Relative mass I have taught you. See, so many things, this way will go very fast. Next section, the only part that I have to teach you in detail is ionic equation. Otherwise, how to write an equation, what is the word equation, how to balance the equation, I think we have done a lot of it. And water crystallization, all those things we will do. That is in the next chapter. Again, so at this level, Madam Nidhi, tell me, are you confident now how to make formulas? So your happiness depends upon how many anions you know. If you don't know the anions, then you are gone. So first make a chart of the anions and fix it right in front of your table. 4-5 दिन देखते रहोगे, ऑटोमेटिक याद आ जाएगा. Then you will forget the name of your pet. उसको भी बोलोगे कार्बोनेट को खाना दिया कि नहीं. Right? Fine.